Well, this mural is really the icing on the cake. Just a few years ago, if you remember, this whole area was a derelict industrial estate, sort of somewhere nobody ever really wanted to go. With the coming of the canal and the coming of this development, we've got an absolutely fantastic canal-side community that's built up. We've got local facilities, and it's just a great place to come. And the addition of the mural, which is really, as I say, the icing on the cake, it just really makes it. It tells the whole history of the area. It illustrates the culture and the heritage that underpins Stroud, and the canal and all that culture really go together. And this is just fantastic.
As mother to 5 daughters, one of my sanity savers is running along this canal path or cycling. But it's more than that. I become part of Stroud's historic fabric, and I believe that the restoration of Stroud Water Canals really opens up a natural doorway to our wonderful heritage. You can almost imagine the roar of water wheels and the deafening sounds of looms processing the red, scarlet and Uli blue cloth, which was once seen drying out in the fields miles around. Today, Lodgemore Mills still provides cloth, obviously the billiard green and the tennis ball yellow for international sporting championships. It is this strong textile legacy that inspired the name Interwoven. But I also believe compositionally, Stroud's landscape demonstrates an interweaving element between the old and the modern. Whether it is Dubridge Crane, Hilly Orchard Bridge or the 21st century cafe culture which we have here. But Stroud has also helped shape me and so many other people around here. I grew up with the mills in this vicinity. As a young teenager, I used to walk to the water-powered Fromehall Mill where my dad worked. And later on, as a young Stroud News and Journal cub reporter, covering endless council meetings in Ebley Mill, where later I had a broadcast studio for BBC Radio Gloucestershire, which I ran for 7 years, probably the only non-council employee in the building. The piece that I've done celebrates everything about this area. It's a 1-mile radius of the whole of Ebley, encompassing the wildlife, the people who use the canal and work here, the past, the present, the cafes, the cloth, the canal industry, the activity that takes place on the canal today, the runners, the cyclists, the canoeists, and up ahead we've got the hang gliders, the paragliders coming off Selsey Common. Today I join hundreds of others who enjoy the freedom of journeying along the canal path, occasionally spotting kingfishers, herons and drinking in its peaceful setting. Vision, investment, dedication and time has resulted in this impressive redevelopment of Ebley. It has brought health, wealth and well-being to the whole community, and I believe we're all the richer for it in non-monetary terms. Interwoven, I hope, celebrates the diversity of colour, vibrancy and heritage and life we're so privileged to enjoy. And I hope that when people see the picture, they take time to drink in everything that this area has to offer. Not only looking back at the past, but celebrating the here and now, and I hope many more people in the future will come to enjoy the canal and all that it represents. Recently I completed a 5-foot hare as part of the Cotswold Hare Trail, and I called it Scarlet Red Hare. It sits outside the museum in the park and pays tribute to all the history relating to the textiles, the scarlet red uniform that used to be worn by the guards, which is in the museum itself. On its head, the hare has clock mechanisms, and it also pays tribute to the time aspects that Stroud is well known for. Years ago, we had our own time, Stroud time, which was 9 minutes before Greenwich Mean Time, so that when the trains left London, we knew that it would be 9 minutes behind. The hare ties in very well with this interwoven piece because, again, it's a reflection of the textile heritage that we are known for. The piece itself, Interwoven, took about 200 hours, a lot longer than I anticipated, because it did involve me cycling and running along the canal path to get an idea of where the geography side of it came into, where Hilly Orchard Bridge was, where Dubridge Crane fell, where Selsey Church looked in relation to Ebbly Mill. It's getting those ideas in my head before I could even actually start drawing. So then I took my sketchbook along with me and I cycled along quite a few times and stopped and drew the various landmarks that I wanted to incorporate in this piece. And then what I did was I went back and scanned every drawing I made and did it to scale. So I then created textures for this piece. I spent a whole afternoon making various textures, which again I scanned into the computer. This whole piece was done digitally, but it was done to scale. So it was layers and layers and layers of work